Hello, and in today's video we are doing an FPL preview for Game Week 17 as well as a FPL review for Game Week 16, of course the last week before the World Cup break, and previewing the return of FPL. So, ahead of our preview of the Boxing Day fixtures and all the transfers I've made during the World Cup break, let's talk about how we got on just before the break. So Game Week 16, leading into that game week we weren't exactly doing well with transfers. We brought in Mark Gurhey, we brought in Bukayo Saka, and he was then had to be brought in for Phil Foden, who we brought in as well, who unfortunately was kept getting benched by Pep Guardiola. Yeah, curse you, Pep. The roulette is brutal. But even in the games we owned Saka, he barely did anything other than an assist in a game against Chelsea. So, yeah, not great, to say the very least. He got also an assist against Nottingham Forest, but then he went off injured. So we did have 2 free transfers going into Game Week 16 because we rolled it in Game Week 15. So what did we do with those 2 free transfers? I'm about to reveal. But ultimately, it was a stinking game week. 41 points, really not what you like to see at all. So it's been playing my mind all through the World Cup break. Starting off with Vicente Guaita, who has done well for me, got quite a few good hauls, got an 11-pointer one game week, and he did concede against West Ham the previous week, and I just thought, that's a one-off. I'll let him off. He's got a great fixture this coming week against Nottingham Forest, who are a team who don't often score a lot of goals. What happens? Forest win the game 1-0. Oh, Vicente, that's not really exactly what I want from you. So, yeah, no save points either. Just not ideal at all. But we move to the defence. Trippier. Now, this is the fixture where I was like, I might even bench Trippier. I'm glad I didn't, because a 7-pointer against Chelsea with another bonus point. I mean, this guy is a joke. How he keeps getting so many bonus points, even with a booking, is beyond me. But that's because he's so attacking and he's just influencing the game so much. Joao Cancelo, yeah, not ideal. Obviously, he came back from the Brentford game because the fact that the game in between of the Carabao Cup he could play, so therefore he could have played. He used that game as a suspension so he could come back for Brentford. But who'd have expected Brentford? 2 goals from Ivan Toney and, look, a yellow card. You never like to see it. So really not ideal, but, that's just a variant sometimes. Then Luke Shaw. This was one of my transfers in. I brought in Luke Shaw because I wanted a differential going into the final week because, what was there to lose? I could always just change my whole team after the Game Week 16 deadline. So, look, ultimately, I went with the United defence. I really shouldn't have because they're just not that solid for clean sheets. But we move. It is what it is. I thought that Shaw, his attacking threat would really be worth it because I could have thought about like Diogo Dalot, but of course he got suspended. So I knew Shaw was the best option, really. And Fulham was a decent fixture, but it just had to be Dan James, the ex-Man United man, to wipe out that clean sheet. And unfortunately, no attacking returns. But, it is what it is. We took a punt. It didn't pay off. And midfield-wise, there were a lot of punts here that didn't pay off. Mainly Bailey. He's been a player in my team since that freemium commitment in Game Week 8's wildcard. Look, it's not ideal. It's far from ideal because Bailey went and trolled me big time. And to be honest, over the World Cup break, I was just buzzing to get rid of Bailey because he's just been such a troll. He's been good for me. He's got me goals. Sometimes he's been on my bench. Sometimes he's been in my team. But he's got me some attacking points. So he's great value and I've really used him well. But other weeks, he's starting the game and he'll get booked. Or he's not starting the game, as is the case here, away to Brighton, and he still manages to get booked. I mean, that's mad. That is crazy. So, you really don't like to see it. Saka, as I say, disappointing. Again, a blank against Wolves. You just don't expect that from him. Salah against Southampton. You thought surely that was going to be a must-own. Because I was like, well, I've got to have Salah in the last few weeks. I'll go for him over KDB. And of course, in that time, KDB, Salah did haul against Spurs, to be fair to him, but still, Salah's just disappointing sometimes, but other times he can be electric. Martinelli 6-pointer, it's what he does, another attacking return. We don't mind it at all. And we brought in Solanke for the final week. Now, I wish I'd brought in Solanke sooner, to be honest, because he'd been doing quite well, but he at least got me an attacking return against Everton. So, decent stuff. We don't mind it too much. Harry Kane, Mr. Consistent, another 11-pointer. Thank you very much. And then Erling Haaland, captaincy blank. Who would have thought it? So, yeah, a lot of shocks. Not a great game week, very, very obviously, but Danny Ward keeps punishing me big time, as does Timothy Castagna. And we benched Gurhi and Andreas. So, yeah, we didn't really want to reflect on this game week too much because it was just an absolute stinker. So, in terms of what that did for my ranking, we were looking at 183k. We dropped down to 248k. So we're now on an overall points of 933 going into game week 17. So it's time to show you my transfer history before we do my FPL preview. Now, you're going to be quite, what's the word? You're going to be quite, I don't even know what the word is. Basically, you're going to be quite surprised and bemused at this. Actually, let's do my pick team first, right? Kepa, there you go. Bournemouth at home, fixture-wise, perfect. I think he's going to be fit. I think he is. Trippier, essential for me. Away to Leicester. Look, Bournemouth is a good chance for a clean sheet. Leicester is a good chance for attack and return because they're still, in my opinion, defensively a bit suspect. Even though they've been improving, Trippier has been so good from a set piece. James, he's back in the team. Yes, I know. He was out injured for the whole World Cup, but he's back. Cancelo away to Leeds, great fixture. Almiron, he's in. Finally, he's in. Now this is going to be the time where he doesn't play like he usually does, but he's just got to be in. It's one of those things. I've learnt my lesson now. I can't avoid him anymore. Away to Leicester, still a good fixture. Martinelli v West Ham, that's a good fixture as well. Rashford, I had to have United attacking this game because Forest defensively are so bad. And Rashford had a great World Cup. Salah away to Villa. Look, at the end of the day, we could easily go KDB because that Leeds fixture is juicy. But I ultimately want to give myself options. And Salah, he is on penalties. He is more explosive than KDB, even if he's not got as good as fixtures. But I can always switch to KDB with the double coming up. So I think it makes sense to go with the most expensive. And that way, you will be able to afford it. And you can just downgrade. And I want to cover that Liverpool attack. And I don't think Darwin Núñez is the answer. Okay? He just wastes so many chances. And you could argue that's a good thing because he's getting involved. But I'm sorry. He just can't hit a barn door. Then Martial, Wilson, Haaland. Nice. That's very differential. Especially these two. Well, I say differential. Haaland is not, but what I mean is Martial only, is it 3%? 3.2% owned. That is what we love to see against that Forest defence. That is going to be juicy. Wilson also has a great record against Leicester, funnily enough, but I really like this as a differential punt. And then we've got the man, the myth, the legend. Who else? Erling Haaland. Now, bench-wise, Ward, Andreas, Patson, Bueno. I mean, it's weak, yes, but I don't think bench is essential, right? It's ideal to have a great bench, but you don't want to overspend. So all these players I think will start most games. Ward, Andreas and Bueno. Patterson will have to see. Hopefully he will. Obviously I can upgrade later on, but that is my team going forward. But there is a plan. I've got money in the bank, a lot of money in the bank, and that gives me so much flexibility because if for some reason, I don't know, Kane started scoring hat-tricks for fun and I wanted to get him in before game week 20 when Spurs have that double game week, then I can always do that. It gives me a lot of flexibility, this. So I'm really liking it. So that's my team selection and game week 16 review. Hope you have enjoyed. Smash a like on it. For me, Haaland has got to be captain because, it's Haaland. Salah's good, but it's Haaland. So if Leeds are in town, they are a team that can really concede a lot. And on the Monday Night Football, it's going to be so nice to watch that with Haaland as captain. Whereas if Salah blanks, you've got that to stew over for the Boxing Day and the day after that, and then the day after that. So it's just not worth it, in my opinion. And that's my team. Hope you have enjoyed. I'll see you on the next one, where hopefully I'll have a bit more of a throat. Bye-bye.